Yes.
I didn't work.
Yeah.
Oh.
It should look there.
Whole leg looks red and swollen.
Yeah, it is, but when I had it up, there was only one little red spot. And it was right there at it. He said, it looks good. Yeah, it's swollen. Why is it recording the practice session?
Mhm.
What do you need, Hallie?
You're gonna.
Battery did.
She said she changed some.
It's starting.
Wants the second. really sick again.
She was here today.
Do I?
Yeah.
She left already. Fire appointment. Cause I really thought she would stick around.
Well,
Tell me something.
can't believe Kamala Harris is.
You're gonna be president?
No, she's not gonna be president. She's literally the dumbest person on the face of the earth. And
She become a vice president.
she's manipulatable, I'd say.
Oh.
Good grief, one of those Jeep Wrangler, Jeep Wranglers, $72,000.
Good heaven.
Looks like it's got a removable front top and then a power top. Oh, it's probably, the whole thing's probably a one-touch converter. One-touch top thing. $70,000. That's nuts.
Mixed in. You're so weird.
Can I play in the backyard?
You'll get locked out.
No. I can unlock it.
Okay.
Hey,
Can we talk for just a second?
Sure.
Be a chance, maybe you can kind of tally a little bit. I know that I'm okay. I'm like not hurt, but um, she's just like you know, she just speaks the truth. You know? Um, she was upset this morning. Guess that she was looking at a yearbook at Izzy's house of our Christian and all the kids and all the stuff we do and stuff like that. So I think she's kind of feeling like she may be missing out on something because she hasn't been able to experience it, so she feels
Right.
like she's missing out. And that part doesn't bother me. I get that. But she said that she just wishes that I would play with her and spend more time with her and not have headaches. She doesn't understand why I have a headache all the time and she doesn't know how to deal with it. I was like, okay, well, thanks for being honest with me. Like, it's okay. It's not easy. I know I just try to do the best that I can with what I have. And I still think you being homeschooled is a good thing. But, you know, if you feel like you want to, you know, go to school and, you know, be something we could talk about. But the biggest issue is I don't know where we would send you.
Right.
I said, we
Might go to Little Rock Christian.
I said, we can avoid some Little Rock Christian this year. Now, next year, maybe because of the Learners Act, you know, we could get us half of it through our tax return thing and we won't have Annie, hopefully. But it was just a little hurtful.
Yeah, I get that.
And but I definitely understand what she's coming from too. And but she said that her head's just all confused. And she says, I don't know what. You know.
Right.
And then the other thing is she's like, I'm not sure that I want a barrel race. You know, I'm not sure that I want to, you know, but Daddy will be mad at me and Reagan's gonna be mad at me and but I love going and I love my horse and I love, you know, but Daddy said if I don't get good at barrel racing, there's no reason for me to go. And it's like, and I really want to go to circus more and I also want to do stuff where I can make friends. I'm like, well, you're not gonna make friends at circus.
We'll make friends barrel racing. Really. Unless you get into some kind of, or at the horse, at being at the.
And then she said, you think Daddy would teach me how to play soccer again? I mean, I think that she's got that part of you where she wants to be part of a team, where she wants,
Right.
and she wants to have friends. She said that's the only thing she really liked about softball
Right.
was the team. She's fighting with the door.
She can't get it. Spot, you know. Push it in and then.
She doesn't normally say a whole lot to me. And so this morning, when she got back from Italy, I mean, she was just like letting me have it about everything. And I was like, what?
I accidentally pulled the heat thing with the heat out and I can't get it back.
Okay.
And you lock it.
Sure.
Yeah, make sure you lock it before y'all leave me.
I gonna walk in on your mommy. Your sister's supposed to come help her. I like her being up here by herself.
I'm calling it. Hey, get up here.
You think she's doing anything?
No. Reading or watching a
Sleeping?
movie.
Sleeping.
She's supposed to be cleaning her room, packing, doing laundry.
You know, good when I had the names of the kids.
I don't know, baby.
It's one of our children's cookbooks.
You can use that one.
No. Where did I know in particular because it has the piece of paper on it that I need. Yeah, you weren't gonna help me look and scroll up and sat back down.
I didn't see it. But you can,
Can you buy these?
I did buy those.
Buy more.
All that stuff is mine. Wait, I just let Kristen use it.
Ally, where do you get these batteries?
What batteries?
In his mouth? I think they're there. Did mom not tell you to find your batteries?
Yeah.
Use it since I put the battery. There was a battery.
Oh, they don't have like any bars in it. Batteries are there.
Um,
It's 24. I think you could log in, start it, and then just get it set up how you want.
Okay.
Here's your everything else.
Please save just for a little bit until some people
Yeah.
log on. And then make
So
sure.
you've already got people logged on.
Oh, really?
Got 7 so far.
Oh, my goodness. Say hi, they can hear you, right?
Trying to get Nicole's screen set up the way she needs it. Not cooperating.
Yeah, probably, you probably. haven't.
Well, now I can't get it back the way we had it.
You can't see.
You can see the desk. I see it's right there. And then
The
let's do
last
this.
time
Let's
the
start.
little things were, they were up here. Like.
Also, it didn't look like that. It just had a little window.
Oh, see, that isn't. Hmm. Well, pull that one up. Is there's not anything around it, like all the stuff. Ah,
Right
there it is
there.
at the bottom. So when you did share here. You want to share just the PowerPoint, right? Share that with everybody. And then you would start it. Oh,
I already
that
started
way.
it.
It was there, but it went away.
There's that.
But all the stuff that was right here, it was there. There it is. Yay. And then participants and does the and then does the Q&A work. How did you make?
It went over.
It went on to that.
Where's the Q&A?
Let's try more.
Q&A.
Okay, so the chat, does everyone see or just me?
Mhm.
Hi, if you can hear me, can you click on like raise your hand, or you can go to the chat function and say hello. Let's see that right here. Oh, see their hands are going up.
Okay.
Awesome.
Make sure they can do something in the chat.
Okay, if you will, in the chat function, if you'll put your name and your PDR number, and I'm gonna work on marking those off for the credit. It must not be working.
Everyone.
Panelists can chat with.
Or and attendees can chat with everyone. We know with host. There you go.
Okay, try it now. Hey. Hi. Yes, please give me your PDR number if you know it. If not, I may have it from last time. I just wanted to make sure it was correct. No, I cannot hear you. So the only way you can communicate with me is through the chat function or the Q&A.
You want to enable everybody's microphone.
Yeah, that's why I do the webinar instead of the meeting, because on the meeting you can hear everybody in that. Okay. So yeah, so just bear with me. I'm going to mark everybody that's on, and we'll get started in just a second. Oh, he's in there. Janine, Jessica, Gina, Carrie, Mays. Hendricks. Yes, you're all muted. So no one can hear you or see you. So the only way you can communicate with me is through the chat function or through the Q&A. So both of them should be, yes, the cameras are off. The only person everyone should be able to see is me and my PowerPoint presentation. So if you don't see me or the PowerPoint presentation, let me know, but you should be able to see both of those. You can see me and you can hear me. So good. Yeah. So the only way, so if you have any questions, make sure you use the chat function or the Q&A function. Great. Thank you. Barbara. Hello, Hendrik Stewart. Okay. Anderson. And if you just got on, I got see a few more got on. If you will, in the chat function, if you'll let me know your name and your PDR number. If you don't know it, then just tell me your name and I'll. I have a list from Melissa with most of them. And angle. I 101. Debbie. And if there's also anyone with you that that's watching or listening with you, and they also need the PDR credit, if you know their number. Yes, Janice, I see you. I mean, I don't actually see you, I just see your name that you are logged in. So all I see is your name. And then I can communicate with you through the chat function and also through the Q&A. So whichever one you want to use is fine. I've got them both open so I can look back and forth and see them both. Okay. Copy. 8. Becca David. Tracy. Awesome. So we have 12 people logged in so far. 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh. Awesome. Okay. And I can give you permission to talk, allowed to talk, but I don't plan on doing that. So if you have any questions, put those in the chat or in the Q&A. And we only have about 15 people on right now, so we're going to give it just a few more minutes before I get started, because I'm expecting a lot more than that today. It is recording, and so once we're finished tonight, I will save it and I'll upload it to our YouTube channel at AR-Children. So if you need to go back and rewatch it, or if you have an employee that you'd like to watch the training, as long as they complete it within the next 30 days, I can give them the PDR credit. But if it's more than 30 days, I can give them a certificate, but I can't do the PDR because it kicks me off the PDR after 30 days. How is everyone doing today? Y'all doing good? Feel free to say hello to anyone in the chat function. Oh, yay, a couple more joined us. If you just joined us in the chat function, if you'll tell me your name and your PDR number so I can mark you off Melissa's list, that would be very helpful. Thank you. Because some of your the way you're logged in, it may just say, iPhone, or it may say Galaxy. So I don't know who you are. So make sure that you let me know in the chat function your name, at least your name, but if you know your PDR number and would like the PDR credit, please include that as well. Okay, I'll give, okay, thank you, thank you. Got a couple more. And 9134. Gotcha, Masons, thank you. Anyone else that's joined us, if you don't mind, please tell me your name and your PDR number in the chat function. I really appreciate it. I did get your name. Sandra, I'm afraid I'll pronounce it incorrectly, but yes, I gotcha. I gotcha. I got your PDR number as well. Anyone else? Okay. Well, I don't want to take too much of your time tonight, and hopefully we'll be able to get through this quickly. I mainly just wanted to go through our required yearly training and do a little bit of just back to the basics, just going over all the basics and make sure that we're all on the same page today, okay? So welcome, everyone, welcome. And, uh-oh. When I'm pushing the arrow, it's not going to the next one. What do I push to go to the next slide? Usually I would do this.
Back here.
Huh?
Get your mouse back down there.
Okay.
No,
Now. Ah, okay. Great, thank you. Got my tech support here. I think I'm good. Yeah, I think I'm good. I've got everything up and it's working. So thanks for joining us. For those who don't know, you know me, I'm Nicole, and I am the trainer here for AR Children. So our training today, like I just said, is getting back to the basics. And I know most of you have been with us for a while. But I also know that we kind of get complacent and we make mistakes. And we've been seeing a lot of mistakes on the claims lately. And also when Amy's been coming out to do some reviews, she's seen just people just not keeping up with their paperwork like they should and things like that. So we don't want to find anything non-compliance when we come out to do a review, or also on your weekly claims when you send them in. So we just need to make sure that we're all on the same page so that we can have a successful program and stay in compliance, with the state and also with the federal government. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask as we're going through. Just use that Q&A function. I'll try to check it periodically. And you can always contact us if you have questions, okay? So I'm glad that you're all able to join me tonight. So a little housekeeping. Bye, darling. The Zoom function, we've already talked about the Q&A, and so that's where you can ask questions. There's the chat box where you can share, and that's where everyone should be able to see what we're putting in the chat function. I may do some polls later. I encourage y'all to participate and engage with me as much as you can, because it's so strange. I still haven't got used to this, like sitting in my office and talking to a computer screen. I don't get any feedback. And so it's just so strange and so weird, but I'm thankful for the technology. I'm thankful that we're able to do this, and the fact that y'all don't have to travel to Little Rock, or I don't have to travel, to Northwest Arkansas to do the training. So I know that the using technology in the Zoom is very helpful, but it is hard taking out the part where we get to, be together. I loved it when we would have the big trainings and we were all together. Maybe in the future we can do that again, but I know that for the most of you enjoy the Zoom trainings. So if you can just try to participate, if you can, put some stuff in the Q&A, chat with everyone. And I've already mentioned that this is being recorded, and so this material will be available on our YouTube channel after we're finished tonight. There is a checklist that I need everyone to fill out. I need at least one per center, or one per home. But if there's two of you and you both want PDR credit, then you can go ahead and fill out 2 of them. That would be great. I would like for you to put your name on it. And this hasn't changed since 2022, but the new one should have. Yes, you missed the meetings and the good breakfast. Yes, me too, me too. And I don't know if any of y'all are old, been in long enough, but when I was younger, my dad would go and get toys, and we would always, we would give out elaborate door prizes and stuff like that. He loved that. That was definitely his heart, was giving, and he loved giving things to y'all. And so I really miss him, and this program just meant so much to him, and y'all meant so much to him. And so yeah, I definitely miss those. But thank you. Oh, you still have your Coop car. That's so cool. These we when we were audited by the state, one of the things that they said is that there's nothing in writing that says that y'all understand everything that you've been trained on. And so that's why I made this checklist a little bit more detailed. So you just put your name that you've completed the 2 hours of training that's required to participate. And I understand the requirements and procedures to participate under a sponsorship with us. So for every one of these things, I'd like for you to circle yes. I'm going to do my best to go over all of them tonight. If I don't get to all of them, if you have any questions, just don't hesitate to call or email me, or call Melissa, and keep her in your prayers. She's not feeling great, so please keep her in your prayers. But she'll be able to answer any questions for you as well. So it's 2 pages. You should have received it in an email from Kristen, and please return them as soon as possible, but the deadline is August 23rd if you want the PDR credit, okay? So just make sure you sign it, you date it, make sure you've circled yes on all of them, and you've given us your PDR number, okay? All right, so tonight's training, we're gonna talk about the required training elements. We're gonna talk about updates and reviews, record keeping, meal planning, and civil rights. So our objective is this: after completing this training, providers will understand the requirements to participate in the CACFP with us. So this year, instead of doing, lots of extra things, I just decided to just stick with the required things that we're supposed to go over every year, but I try to give y'all more fun, fluffy things that are, that you can take and use in your homes. But after speaking with Mona and Melissa and Amy and Marie, that we just really need to go back to the basics. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. Okay. I still do have a few little games to play to try to engage. So we're going to play this little game. It's called 2 Truths and a Lie. So you see 3 statements here. Let's go to the first one. So you see 3 statements here. 2 of them are true, and 1 of them is a lie. So if you would, in the chat, if you would put A, B, or C, what do you think? Which one is the lie? A, B, or C? I lost you there. Some people have said B, B, B. Very good. Very good. Give me 2 more seconds. All right. B is correct. That is the lie. So A says notify AR children if you will be closed for any reason. It's very important that you let us know. So if you are closed, we can let our review team know, and then we also can put it, well, maybe on the new state website. The website has changed. So in the past, there was like a a box that we could put in, like, you're going to be closed this day or for this reason and that kind of thing. But it's always good for us to know that you're going to be closed so that I won't send Amy out to do a review. Or if the state was to come out to do a review unexpectedly, they could call us and we can say, oh, yes, Miss Tate was closed today because their power was out, something like that. You didn't receive the training. Okay. Let me write your name down and I will email that to you when we get done here today. It should have come from Kristen yesterday. It should have included the agenda, the training checklist, and then a lot of handouts. And then I also put some links to different things for USDA or Team Nutrition. So those links should be on there as well. Notify AR children if you're going to make any changes to your program. This is really important too. So say we have down on your contract that you have lunch at 11 o'clock and someone shows up at 11:30 and you haven't even started on lunch yet because you have started serving at 11:45. Well, that's okay as long as you let us know. That you want to make that change to your program. But if we have down on the contract that you serve at 11, when we get there at 11, we should see something. We should see you getting ready to serve. We should see you serving or the kids eating or you're cleaning up. There is still that, 30-minute window, but whatever time we put on the contract, we want to be able to see something if we come at that time. And a lot of you probably know that the state has switched over to a new program. And we're trying to figure it out and get the kinks out of it. So right now, the home portion of it, we haven't quite figured out. So I'm hoping that we get all the kinks out before we pay you for July. But they closed down, as you know, they normally do for a couple of weeks, but this time they closed down even longer and they moved. So instead of being under DHS, they're now under the Department of Ed. And so they moved to the Department of Ed building. So it's been terrible. The communication's been terrible. Their phones have been down. Their emails have been down. The website's not easy to use. So we're trying to figure all that out. Luckily, we did receive our advance for June and I was able to pay you all for June. But July, let's just pray that we get it all figured out by then because it's not easy and they haven't been very helpful, with all the changes. Okay. So must include with a claim a written note after returning from vacation. No, we don't have to have that. That's kind of like a doctor's excuse or whatever. We don't have to have that. Just make sure you let Melissa know that you're gonna be closed or you want to make any changes to your program. Okay. The next thing is need to be posted. Now, some of you are you're in your homes, but you don't have a space for your daycare. And some of you have a separate space. If you have a separate space and you have a bulletin board for your parents, I would highly encourage that you just put everything on that bulletin board so you don't have to worry about it. And if someone comes out to do a review, then you can just, point to your board and everything's there. Okay. If you don't have a board or the ability to do that, you just need to make sure that this is all available for review and available also to your parents. So, so here we go. Justice for all poster and non-discrimination statements must be posted. Weekly or monthly menus must be posted. Nothing has to be posted. So which one is the lie? Looks like a couple of you have already said C. Mm-hmm. C, very good. The correct answer is C. So what things do need to be posted? We need to have, the most important thing is called, whoops, let me go back one, is the Justice for All poster. Whoops. Well, yeah. Justice for All poster, a non-discrimination statement, building for the future, WIC fact sheet, and your menu. So whatever you're planning on having, and you can do that however you want. There's no regulation that says how it has to be posted. So you can do it daily, you could do it weekly, you can do monthly, you could do 2 weeks and rotate, however you want to do your menu, but they do need to be posted for the parents to see what you're planning on having. Now, I have heard that some of you use like Brightwell or other programs where you put your menu on that and the parents can see that. That's okay. but you also need to have it available in your home as well, not just on the computer program. So what do these things look like? This is what the Justice for All poster looks like. And no, we still haven't received any new updated ones. So along with this Justice for All poster, you should have an 8.5 by 11 non-discrimination statement. And this, all of this information comes directly from your Justice for All poster. The only thing that's added is what's highlighted in yellow. And that's what's supposed to be on the new posters that we have not yet to receive. So this needs to be posted. And if you don't have a copy of this, it was in that email that was sent from Kristen. I tried to give her everything to email to you so you would have it available. But if you didn't receive anything, just let me know in the chat function, and I will write your name down and make sure we get it to you. The other thing is building for the future. Okay, this is a state regulation, and it just pretty much says that this daycare receives support from CACFP to serve healthy meals. And if they have questions, we would like for them to contact us, since we are your sponsor, and allow us to answer questions for them, or they can go to the USDA website to see the meal patterns and see that you're following the meal patterns. They can learn more there. The other thing is that the WIC information needs to be available to your parents, and you can give this out to them, or you can have it hanging on your board. Just make sure that every July you give them the newest updated information. So it was included in that email, and it says effective July 1, 2024. So if you have the 2023 or even maybe the 2022, I've been out to do some visits and seen some with the 2022 hanging. Take those down because they're outdated, and make sure you put the newest updated one on your board. So these, like I said, they change the income guidelines every year. Here's an example, a sample menu of what I just made one up for a week with the breakfast, lunch, and snacks for a week, and I didn't date it. So I thought, if you could put like this is week 1, and then you could have week 2, week 3, week 4, and then you could rotate them. You could do something like that where you're not having to recreate every week. But this is an idea that you can use, or you can do it, how you want. Just needs to be posted. And here's an example of the bulletin board that I have here in the office that I made, just as an example of what you could have your parent board. Where do we get the new WIC? It should have been in that email that you received from Kristen. If it was not, please just let us know, and I'll email it back out to you. But yeah, we just got it this week. So I did ask her to include it. So yeah, so that's everything on the board. And then you can also include the things that you're required, other things you're required, like the malnutrition phone numbers, your maybe the ones of you that have more than 12 kids and you have a health inspector, you could put that up there. You could put a copy of your license if you wanted to. The things that are required for Better Beginnings, you can include in that, and different things for your parents. Okay. All right, the next thing we're going to talk about is the new updated letter to the parent. So this one is also updated for the new income guidelines for 2024-25. And you're required to give this out to new families. So if you don't have to get this back, but you should be, see if that was a daycare. No, okay. You should be giving these out to new families, but you don't have to get it back from them, okay? But one thing that is required is that we have an obligation to serve infant form on every infant in your care. So it doesn't matter whether you're claiming them on the program or not, we have to have an obligation to serve infant form on every infant 0 to 12 months. And infants, 0 to 12 months. And remember that you're required to offer one type of formula, and it must be an iron fortified infant formula. Can you offer more than one? Of course you can. So where it says name of provider, that would be where you put your name. and the type or types of formula offered, that's where you would list the formulas. And then the parent could just circle which one that they're choosing. If you did a milk base and a soy base. Yes, this is the same form that is used in the centers. Yes. Mm-hmm. The daily records are different, but the obligation of infant forms, enrollment forms, and the income forms are the same, whether you're a home or a center. So you're going to put the name of the infant and the date of birth. And then the parent is either going to accept the type of formula that you're offering, or they're going to tell us what they're going to provide instead. So if they're going to provide breast milk, or they're going to provide some specialized formula, then they'll list that there. Once they're around 6 months of age is when you have to start introducing fruits and solid foods like fruits and vegetables and cereals. And that's where the parents will accept or decline the meals and snacks offered by you. And they're going to sign it and date it. And this form is good for that first year of life. You need to send a copy of it to Melissa. You can scan it and email it. You can take a picture of it and email it. However, whatever's easiest for you. But make sure that before you claim the infant, that Melissa has a copy of your obligation to serve infant form. Okay. So here we go on child enrollment forms. Which one is the lie, A, B, or C? Meals are not reimbursable until completed child enrollment form is on file at the AR Children's Office. A copy of each enrollment form must also be kept with your records and readily available for review. Or C, child enrollment forms include information on the child's medical history. Which one is the lie? Very good. You're correct. It is C. We don't, there's no medical history on your child enrollment form. This is what your enrollment form looks like. And you need to make sure to put your name and your address and phone number. Please check the meals and snacks that you're going to be claiming for reimbursement. So you would, most of you would do breakfast, lunch, and a PM snack. Now, some of you may serve an AM snack, but you're not claiming that for reimbursement. So just do breakfast, lunch, and a PM snack. You're going to list the kids' names, first name, last name, age, birthday, hours of care, days of week, and the gender. Please just make sure that your names match. So whatever names that you put on your enrollment forms will also be the same names that are on your attendance records. Note any allergies that the child may have with the doctor's name and phone number. And then make sure that the parent signs off on this and dates it. And this form is good for 1 year from that date. Okay. And then what you're going to do is you're going to look at that form. You're going to double check it, make sure it's all correct to the best of your knowledge. You're going to initial and date it. And then you're going to send a copy to Melissa for your records. Okay. So remember, we do need one for every child that's in your care. It's good for 1 year from that date. Make sure that you initial it and date it. And make sure you're using this new updated form where they have the option to mark their ethnic identity, because it's important, because on the program we have to put the percentage of your facility, how it falls, and so we have to know something, or we just have to make it up. So if you can encourage the parents to check those boxes, we'd really appreciate it. Okay, and remember, Melissa keeps a spreadsheet with all of your kids and stuff. So when they were enrolled and when they expire. So if you ever need a copy of that, just ask Melissa and she'll share it with you. And most of you, I think, set up an anniversary date and renew all of your enrollment. So say August 1st, we're just going to go ahead and renew them all, whether they expired in August or another month, but you just renew them all at the same time. So you only have to do it once per year unless you get a new child throughout the year. Okay. But the main thing is just make sure it's all filled out and it's correct to the best of your knowledge. You initial it and date it, and you send Melissa a copy. Any questions about those? Go up here and check the Q&A. There we go. Okay. Don't hesitate to ask questions as we're going if you have any. Okay, medical statement. It's really important that we have a medical statement on the kids that want their parents would like you to change your menu. So your posted menu that you have, if they say, oh, my child can't have this, they can't have that, I would like for you to give them something instead of this. Then you need a medical statement because we can't discriminate on the program. So what we serve to one child, we have to serve to all unless there's a medical reason. And so this is the medical form that you need to use. Now, if you already have doctor's notes in their file at your home, we can accept those as long as it has the doctor's name and phone number and it's signed. But for any future kids, try to use this state form. And why it's important is that it's going to tell you the foods that can be omitted, and then what they suggest to substitute. Because sometimes the parents will say, well, my child doesn't drink milk, and I would like for them to get almond milk, or I'd like for them to get soy milk, or whatever. If they would like soy milk, which tell you what, we'll skip that. We're going to talk about milk in a minute. But anything that they want to be omitted from your menu, and they give you a suggestion for what you could give instead. It does say that it needs to be signed by a medical authority. And right now that means, a doctor, a nurse. There has been submitted to Congress as part of the new provisions that would allow like a nutritionist to do that. But as of right now, it's a doctor or nurse at the pediatric clinic or something. Okay, so record keeping. Milk, which one is the lie? Menu and meal counts must be completed at the beginning of each day. Menu and meal count records should be kept on file in your home for review. Menus and meal count records should match the names of the child present for the meal service and the meal component served. A is correct. And let's see, let me go back up here. I saw a question. What if the parent is vegan and they want their child to follow a vegan diet? If you are able to reasonably meet the child's needs, then yes, you're supposed to. But if it was me, I would still want a doctor's note saying that it's okay for that child to be on a complete vegan diet, because as we know, if they're completely vegan, then as their child is growing, they're not getting all of the nutrition that they need, more than likely. So if it was me, I would ask for that medical statement for the doctor to say that it's okay for this child to have all of these things omitted that the parent request. And as we know, the menu and meal counts need to be completed before you leave at the end of the day, not at the beginning. We don't want to mark off who's there before they get there, right? The regulation is that you do it at the point of service. So we've talked a little bit last year about point of service, and that means when you're serving the meal. So at breakfast, all the kids are there. You're going to mark off which kids got breakfast. At lunch, you're going to mark off which kids got lunch. At PM snack. Now, if I come in at lunchtime and you have not had a chance to mark off breakfast, I'm not going to disallow breakfast. But if you haven't checked off the day before, then those meals would need to be disallowed. Okay. So make sure that you do it by the end of the day, maybe at nap time if you can't get it done before. Okay. So why do we need to keep the record meal count every day? Well, one, it's a requirement. Like I said, it's that point of service is a requirement. And we want to maximize your reimbursement. And a lot of times, mistakes are made. You'll forget that a child came in late or a child left early. So we want to make sure that it's accurate and it's going to match, reflect what child was there for that meal. Okay, so this, So this is y'all's weekly meal count sheet. And most of you do a fine job filling this out, but just put your name, list all of your kids' names, their ages, their average time in and time out. And what I would do is put the times that are on your enrollment form. So that will reflect the meals. So the reason that's important, because like if you say they don't get there till 11 and then you try to mark off breakfast, well, they're not enrolled for breakfast. They're not only enrolled for lunch and PM snack. So just make sure that those average times reflect what's on their enrollment forms. And then all you have to do is, like I said, mark it off breakfast, lunch, PM snack after you've served the meal. Okay. And if you are using the what's it called? Excel workbook, then when you put the check marks or the ones in there, it's going to add them for you, add them down. And if you're having any trouble with that portion, just let Kristen or Melissa know. Kristen is very computer savvy, so she's been a wonderful addition to help us with things like this. So if you have any problems with that, just let her know. Okay. Questions? Okay. All right. Meal service. Asking a child if he or she wants breakfast counts as a participation in the meal. All meal components must be offered at the same time at the beginning of the meal, and family-style meals are allowable in the CACFP. So which one is the lie? Thank you. Thank you. AA. Yes, A is correct. Asking a child if he or she wants breakfast does not count as participation. It has to be put in front of them. Even if they say, I don't want it, I'm not going to eat it, you still have to put it in front of them. And it's okay. I mean, I know sometimes you just hate to throw out food. I get that. But you're being reimbursed for that meal and you're required to put it in front of the child. And sometimes they'll say they don't want it, but then after they sit there for a minute and see their friends eating, they're going to be more likely to try it. Okay. All right. And so this is what your menus look like. They're very easy. It tells you on the left side what's required, and all you have to do is write the actual food components down of what you serve. So for milk, we would ask that you tell us what type of milk you're serving, because remember, the little ones from 12 to 24 months, they need whole milk. Once they're over 2, they need to be on 1% or low-fat skim milk. And then you may have some on soy, or you may have some on other things. So if you could just you can just put a W. I know there's not a lot of room, just write all that out. But if you put a W/1%/soy, something like that. So Melissa knows that you're serving all these different types of milk. The fruits and vegetables just tell us what kind, like it was peaches or pears or pineapple. The bread, the grains, like it was Cheerios, tell us what kind of cereal, don't just write cereal. And the meat or meat alternate, if you choose to do that, remember you can do it up to 3 times a week. And you can put, like if it was eggs or yogurt, yeah, anything like that. Remember, for lunch, you need 5 components from all the different food groups. And for PM snack, you need two from 2 from 2 different food groups. No, you do not have to have a medical statement to serve lactose-free milk, which that's a good question. And in a minute, we'll talk more about milk. But there are certain things that you can purchase to meet the child's needs without the medical statement, as long as they're nutritionally equivalent. So a lactose-free milk is going to be nutritionally equivalent to regular milk. And so they sell soy milks that are nutritionally equivalent. But if the parent is wanting something like an oat milk or an almond milk or something like that, you would need that medical statement because it's not nutritionally equivalent. But very good question. And like I said, we'll talk more about milk in a minute. So remember, this is our meal patterns for children. Y'all all should have a copy of this in your home. If you don't, let me know and I will get you one. I gave them out in training the last time that we actually met in person that were laminated so that and a clipboard, so you're able to put those up in your home. So if you don't have a copy of it, yeah, just let me know. You don't, Miss Janice? Okay, let me write your. I think I already wrote your name. Miss Vicky, you didn't get the email at all, right? So you need the email with everything. I need to, and then can you get a copy of it? Okay, yes. We'll do the meal pattern. If I don't write it down, I'll forget. So for Dennis and Melanie. Okay. Meal pattern chart. Oh, well, that's weird. You received the other forms, just not the training form. That's not good. All right. Anybody else not receive the training checklist? Okay. All right. So this is really, you're welcome. So this is really good because you can have it handy to remember the minimum serving sizes. Remember that these are minimum and we want to start out with the minimum. So when you're making the child's plate for breakfast, you want to make sure like your 1 to 2 year olds have a half a cup of milk, which is, 4 ounces. They want to have a fourth a cup of fruit and a half a cup of bread or grain. And then if they want more, you can always give them more. That's fine. But I recommend that you start their plates with all the minimums. You serve it and encourage them to try everything on their plate. And then if they want more, obviously, yes, you can give them more. These are just the minimums. And most 3 to 5 year olds I know will eat more than what's on here, especially if they're having a growth spurt, All right, here we go. Here's some more stuff about milk. I made some slides about milk. So which one is the lie? Children ages 12 to 23 months must be offered whole milk. Flavored milk is credible for children of any age. Milk is not a required component at snack under the child menu pattern. So which one is the lie? Got it. All right. The correct answer is B. It looks like most of you said B. Flavored milk is credible for children at any age. This is not true. They have to be over the age of 6 to have flavored milk. So I encourage y'all just to not have, especially family daycare homes, to not serve flavored milk at all. If you're a center and your school age kids come after school and they're separated from the preschoolers where they don't see the preschoolers, then, you could give them chocolate milk after school. But if they're going to be with the preschoolers, that's just so not fair because the preschoolers will be like, why can't I have chocolate milk? So I would just not serve flavored milk. Okay. So Arkansas Children takes many steps to ensure the accuracy of claims submitted. These steps include all of the following except making sure that meal service includes credible foods, reviewing any special diet statements on file, required to update household income statements each month. Which one is not true? That's correct. Yes. C. You're all on tier 1 rates by your local school or by the census data. We were able to get you all tier 1 rates. So we do not have to have a household income statements unless you're trying to claim your own children. And even then it's just once a year, not monthly. Okay. So here's just a question for you. A child with a milk allergy requires rice milk and has a signed special diet statement on file. The provider is required to provide the rice milk unless it's financially burdensome. Is that true or false? You can just put A or B if you'd like on your chat, A or B. Okay, it looks like most of you got that. That is true. So because that child does have a medical condition and they do have a signed special diet statement, that the provider is required to provide the necessary accommodations, unless it's, prohibitively expensive. So it pretty much says financially burdensome in the regs. So most things you should be able to provide, if they do want almond milk and they have a statement, or lactose free or whatever. But an example might be Neutrogena or something that's very expensive. Quick question. Yeah, good question. Why do they allow school children? Good question. It doesn't seem fair, does it? I think it's because it's allowed in the schools. But I will tell you that during this last FSN meeting, they're making changes to special nutrition. It's mainly going to be school lunch, and hopefully it's not going to affect us. It's going to be more for the schools. Because as you know, especially in Arkansas, there's a lot of 3- and 4-year programs that are within the schools. And so they have to follow our rules, the CACFP rules, and the school follows the school lunch rules, and they're very different. And what they track is different, what they can serve is different. So I think there's been a lot of complaints, and they want to streamline that more, where whatever they serve, the elementary school kids, they can also serve the 3- and 4-year-olds. So I see that there'll be some changes coming. It's just when they say there's going to be changes, it may be 2 years from now. I really don't know when it'll be actually set. But if any changes are made, we will let you know. But I expect most of them to affect the school lunch program and not us. But who knows? We'll see. But yeah, good question. All right. So when I was telling you about making substitutes for milk, it's very important that the substitute is nutritionally equivalent without the statement. So like I said, if a parent comes in and says, my child's allergic to milk, I want lactose-free milk, or I want soy milk, as long as you purchase unflavored and it's nutritionally equivalent, then you can serve it. So, So you'll see up here that the calcium needs to be at least 276 milligrams. It must have 8 grams of protein. It has to have vitamin A and D and magnesium and phosphorus and potassium and all of these things. And if you look at a rice milk or an almond milk, it doesn't have all of these things. So, so if you look at, there's some down here that gives you an example. Compare the nutrition profile to the fluid milk to determine if you can serve them without a medical statement. I can't see. Where's the calcium? Yeah, so you can see that like both of them have enough calcium. Protein, what about protein? The second one only has 2 grams of protein. So this one does not meet the protein or the riboflavin, and it would require a medical statement for meal reimbursement. And a lot of you that if you do buy soy milk, if you get like, I have a list of acceptable ones, but if you just buy like the plain Great Value brand soy milk, it's credible, or the silk is very popular. As long as you get the unflavored one, that one is nutritionally equivalent. And pretty much all of the lactose free, like if it's just lactose free, that's the only, they're credible. Okay. So here's some frequently asked questions about milk. So I'll just let y'all I won't read all that to you. Y'all can look at that. But the big one right now is almond milk, and a lot of parents request almond milk, but it's not nutritionally equivalent, and so it's not reimbursable. And if they really want the almond milk, then you will need that medical statement. But if that's all they list, where it says things to be omitted and things that they can substitute, if on the substitution list it just says almond milk, then that's what you have to provide. But if it says it could be soy, or it can be lactose free, or it can be, then I would choose either the soy or the lactose free. Either one is fine. I guess it depends on what the child will drink. Okay. So why can't I claim? We've kind of already talked about that. It's not nutritionally equivalent. And I didn't know anything about this Ripley milk. Is anybody familiar with that milk? It's actually can't talk, shelf stable milk. And I have never heard of it, but they talked about it at the national meeting, and it can be substituted without a diet statement because it does have all the nutrition in it. Oh, I've never heard of it. Okay. All right. What about CN labels? This is another thing that Melissa wanted to make sure that I bring up to y'all. I know it's so hard. It's so hard in Arkansas to be a family daycare home and find anything with a CN label. It's and if y'all have found them and you want to share that in the chat with everybody, I know that others would probably appreciate that. But typically they're only going to be on large portions, like what you could get at Sam's. Or what you get from a food distributor. And so most of the centers, I tell them if they're wanting to serve a lot of things with CN labels, they just need to use like a Cisco, a Benny Keith, something like that, because they'll deliver it to you, and they deliver to schools. And so they have CN products, labeled products that they can but I need you to know is that if you're going to serve, ready-made pizzas, or if you're going to serve chicken nuggets or corn dogs or fish sticks or anything like that, it has to have a CN label. But why? I mean, you're thinking, why is this important? The reason it's important is because it's going to tell you how much of the product is meat and how much product is bread, or how much the product is vegetable. And that way you know how much to serve. Okay. And so here's like how do you read this one? So it says 4 fish sticks provides 2 ounces of meat and 1 ounce of bread. So then how many fish sticks to give each child. So your 1 to 2 year olds need at least 2 for lunch. Your 3 to 5 year olds need 3, your 6 need 4, and that's why it's important. And if we come to do a review and you're serving chicken nuggets that day, or a corn dog, or you're serving chicken nuggets, we want to see a copy of that CN label to see how it's credited, so that we know that, okay, you put 4 chicken nuggets on that plate. Well, that was enough to meet the meat and the bread requirements for that meal. Okay. I encourage y'all, because you're homes and you have fully kitchens, is to try to cook as much as you can and not use things that are frozen. But I do also know how easy it is to just throw in some chicken nuggets, and how much the kids love them. So I get that. And you can find them on some things. I know that State Fair corn dogs you can. A lot of the chicken, like the dino nuggets and things like that. But, and I've heard that some of the Members Mark, the Sam's and Walmart brand, you can get CN or product formulation statements on their products. But I just know for homes, it's just, if you're going to your local Walmart, or you're going to Kroger or the Dollar General, they're not going to have anything with a CN label, unfortunately. Okay. And yes, you do need to keep that on file for that one product. But if you have it for your chicken nuggets and you continually buy the same chicken nuggets, then you just need to keep it once. You don't need to keep, every time you serve it, have a label. Make sure that it's not expired though. So they do, I didn't realize a long time ago that they do have expiration dates. So make sure they're not expired. The other option is that you can get a product formulation statement, and pretty much everything Tyson, you can get a product formulation statement. You can go to their website, but then you have to make sure that you're buying the correct product, and they have so many different products. So what they sell through a food distributor may not be the same thing that they're selling at your local Kroger. Okay. And there's been questions about, can I count like my chicken nuggets as whole grain? As long as it is a whole grain rich breading, then you can. All right, the next hot topic was to juice or not to juice. A lot of you will put juice on your menus. If you do, please tell us what kind it is. Remember, it must be 100% fruit juice or vegetable juice, and you cannot serve juice to infants. So if they're under the age of 12 months, you cannot serve them juice. Now on this slide, I forgot to update this slide. It says fruit or vegetable juice may be served up to 3 times a week to meet the fruit or vegetable requirement per AR S&P. Well, the federal guidelines is once per day. And our last training last month, they said that they're just following federal guidelines. They're not trying to enforce anything stricter than the federal guidelines. So if you do serve juice more than 3 times a week, that will be something that we will not disallow for. But you do need to make sure that's 100% full strength fruit juice. And I want to encourage you not to do it very often. Okay. We know that there is some nutrition in it, but where's my brain is not working tonight. It doesn't have all the fiber that you would get from having a whole fruit. So think about what would be an advantage if today you wanted to give them you were planning on giving them apple juice, but instead of giving them apple juice, give them an actual apple, so I love this slide because it shows you, just think about that. How many apples do you think goes into making 4 ounces of 100% fruit juice? 1.5 apples. So my goodness, could you imagine a child sitting down for snack and you cut up 1.5 apples and gave them to them, or gave them 4 ounces of juice? Which one's going to be more satisfying? And so think about the benefits of giving the kids whole fruit versus the juice. So, I mean, if you did give them that 4 ounces of juice, say for breakfast, what's going to happen? Like 30 minutes, an hour later, they're going to be hyped up on the sugar and they're going to have more of that crash. But because whole fruits has the beneficial fibers, and they will not have those short bursts of energy with the crash. It'll be sustain them better. And obviously they're going to sit there and they're going to be chewing and they're going to eat longer. So it's going to be more satisfying to them. So just keep that in mind when you're choosing, you're planning your menus, that try to choose those whole fruits and vegetables over juices. Okay. But if you do, full strength juice must be 100% to count towards your fruit and vegetable component at 1 meal per day, including snacks. So you can't have it for breakfast and then have it for snack. You can just have it for one or the other, no more than once per day. Okay. Melissa also mentioned to me that y'all are desperate for more snack ideas. So I will go through these slowly. So if you would like to snap a picture of some of these, here Here's some snack ideas with milk. So if you want to have milk, what are you going to have with it? Well, here's some ideas of some things that you could have for snack today with milk. I found all of these ideas on Pinterest. So I haven't gotten on that in a long time, but this last week I got on Pinterest to try to find some snack ideas, and I was like, oh, this is great. So this one was with milk. All right, this one is with meat or meat alternates. I'll leave that one up for a second too. So if you want to jot those down or snap a picture of it. This one I thought was really fun. It was a pig yogurt bowl for kids. And remember that anything that you do, try to make it fun. Like, oh, Miss Teresa, is there something that you could share? I know she always has such creative snack ideas where she gets the kids involved and makes it fun or cute, or it goes along with what they're learning that day. Like maybe they're learning the number 4, and so they're going to put 4 blueberries on top, or just try to make it part of your curriculum that this snack time is fun, but you can also learn from it. So this was one that I found that I thought was really, really cute but easy, because I know y'all want something that's easy to throw together, but that's cute and the kids will like. Here's some ideas with vegetables. So you want to have a vegetable for ants on a log. Yes. I love ants on a log. But I love pretty much anything with peanut butter. That's like my go-to snack. I've got little cups of peanut butter in my bag that I carry around. Here's some using fruits. Looks like my using fruits got cut off. But most kids like fruit. And like I said, the more whole fruits and vegetables that you can serve, we're very blessed to live in Arkansas, and especially at this time of the year, there's so many fresh fruits and vegetables that we have access to. I know it's harder in the winter, but right now there's so many different things that you can introduce to your kids. One thing that the one I see that says cherries and with pretzels. We were in Costco, and they were, how they give the samples everywhere. They were giving out cherries, and it wasn't like I forget how you say it, but the ones like you put in your drinks and stuff. I mean, they were big cherries with stems, and my 11-year-old got one. She goes, "Oh my goodness, Mom, these are really, really good." And we bought a whole box of them, and she's pretty much eaten all of them. So you just never know. And if a child doesn't like something at one time, you may introduce it at another time and they'll love it. You just never know. So these are some great ideas that you could try with your kids. Watermelon is so good right now, and what kid doesn't like watermelon? This I thought was very cool. I don't know how many of you are members of the CACFP Association. We're members as a sponsor, but you can also join as a provider. And they have lots of different handouts and training things that they're the ones that do the 30-minute videos once a month, and they're just lots of great ideas. And I thought this one was neat. It was a sample menu, but it was kind of trying to be more budget savvy. So when you're planning your whole week, thinking about making your grocery list and what, how much everything would be and stuff. So I thought this one was really neat because it lists all the meats that you're going to need for that week, all the grains, all the vegetables, all the fruits, other things that you'll need. So it kind of gives you a good shopping list for the week. And most of our daycare centers, they'll set up menus and they rotate them, like I mentioned earlier. So they may have 4 weeks of menus. So it'd be really cool to make that way. You make your grocery list, you make your menu, and then you just rotate them. And then when times like today, you drive by and they're selling watermelon and you buy a watermelon, then whenever, like, see, you have on here bananas on your menu today. Well, you want to substitute, for watermelon because you got one, from a stand, then that would be fine. But this is what you were planning on doing, but you can always make changes as needed. And this was another handout that I found on there. Pair two food components from two different groups to get some different snack ideas. So this gives you some ideas to look at and you think, oh, I've never given my kids this or that. What if we try this with it? So this gives you some ideas of things that you can pair together. In the chat function, why don't y'all share what are some of your kids' favorite snacks? That's not, prepackaged. Have any of y'all done the edamame with them? Did they enjoy that? That's one of my daughter's favorite snacks is edamame, and you just, stick it in the microwave and then put some sea salt on it. And she loves that. Bananas, yes. I think most kids, they're so sweet. They love bananas. Yogurt and Cheerios. Yes, yes. Because a lot of kids don't like granola. So, but to give them that crunch, you could put Cheerios in it or blueberries, frozen blueberries with some Cheerios. Oh yeah, homemade from banana bread, fruit smoothies, grilled cheese. Very good. Thank y'all for sharing. Ooh yeah, homemade zucchini bread. I would think any type of homemade bread or muffins the kids would like. And you can get them to help with those, to make those things. Yeah, apples and cheese sticks. Cheese sticks are great because they're easy and they've got that protein that the kids need. And so pairing those with a fruit, that's a good idea. Yeah. Thank y'all so much. Oh, and this is USDA. If you go to the Team Nutrition, the Food and Nutrition Services, there's a lot of menus, and we've talked about before how important it is that if you are making something that you have a standardized recipe. And this one I thought was really cute and easy. Some of the things that they have on there are not real easy. So I thought this one was very easy and kids would love it. So it's a strawberry and waffle kebab with maple yogurt dip. And so it gives you the ingredients and the directions to make that. And it tells you nutritional information and how it's credited. And if you go to that website, there's lots of different menus. And then there's also like little videos that, oh, yay, is it going to work? Hopefully y'all can hear this, but they're just like less than 2 minutes and they're videos. I think it just plays music. Team Nutrition, it's Team Nutrition is where you would find it. And then, so if you put in USDA Team Nutrition, but if you can't hear anything on this video, all it's doing is playing music in the background. It's not telling you anything. Make sure I tell you the right thing. Teen Nutrition CACFP Easy Recipes. That's where you'll find it. And they will have some cooking videos that are like for 3 to 5 year olds. And then they have some that were for 6 to 18-year-olds. So lots of different recipes and videos to go along with them. Okay. The next thing was I found was a measurement conversion, and I know that y'all do a lot more cooking than like the centers do, and you want to know what the volume and the weight and the scoop sizes are. And I thought that this was a neat conversion chart that's available at the cacfp.org. Another fun thing that I saw was conversation starters. So these are cards that you can print out and cut up into cards, and you can choose a card while you're sitting down to have your meals. Because sometimes mealtime can be chaotic, I know, and especially if you're the only adult there. But I do encourage, if you can, to be able to sit down with your kids and talk to your kids about their day and how things are going. And these are really cute little conversation starters. So the kids would just pick a card and it says, "What's your favorite food?" And then, you get them all talking about their favorite foods, and then they'll tell you what their mom and dad's favorite foods are and their brothers and sisters' favorite foods, but typically the kids don't need any help on things to talk about. But I thought these are really cute, and it might keep you on a particular task. Or maybe you think about what you're studying that day and say you're learning about a letter, say the letter B, and they say, "Well, what's your favorite thing that starts with the letter B?" But use that time to be calm and as possible, and to get them to learn how to have conversations and take turns talking and things like that. So I thought these were really cute, and they're also available at the cacfp.org. Okay. Back to our menus. We already talked about, okay, yeah. So we've already really talked about this. So just make sure that you're writing down the food items. So like for example, if we went back to those kebabs, what would you write down on your record? Would you put waffle kebabs? No, we need to put down that you had Greek yogurt and waffles, or we had fresh strawberries. Tell us the actual food items and not the menu item, if that makes sense. Okay. Is there any questions? All right. We talked about that. All right. The other thing that Melissa really wanted me to hit on was infant menus. And I would really like some direction. So if you have questions about infant menus, think about it for a minute. And if you will, put that in the Q&A or in the chat. So make sure that I answer your questions about infant menus. Remember that birth to 5 months, all that's required is breast milk or formula once they're around 6 months of age. And that's the thing that's different as the last few years since beginning in 2019. It's all about developmental readiness. So if the child is 5 months old and they're already developmentally ready for cereals and fruits and vegetables, then you start serving them that and documenting it. But say they're 8 months old and they were premature and they don't have the head control yet, and they're not sitting up where you can feed them with a spoon, then all they're going to be getting is the breast milk or formula. Okay. But once you start introducing the cereals and fruits and vegetables, we expect to see it on every menu. All right. So what is developmental readiness? And it's something too that you're going to have to work with the parents and with a pediatrician sometimes, but As babies grow, we know that they will eventually need to start eating solid foods in addition to their breast milk and formula. And when we say solid foods, we really mean that they're safe and easy for the baby to eat once they're developmentally ready. Developmentally ready means the baby is showing a set of skills or ability that means that they're ready to try the solid foods. It usually happens around 6 months of age, but it could be earlier or later. So what happens? The baby can sit in a high chair and has good head control, opens their mouth when food comes their way or reaches for the food, and they're able to use their tongue to move the food from the spoon into their mouth, and they can move it from the front of their mouth to the back of their mouth, and they're able to swallow it. Okay. And keep in mind that all babies develop at their own rate. So, for example, while one baby might be opening their mouth or reaching for food when they're 5 months old, another might not until 6 or 7 months, and that's okay. That's what's really nice about this new requirement. So, the CACFP is giving us as caregivers and as parents the flexibility to feed each baby based on their developmental readiness. That way, as a child care provider, you can help to make sure that the baby's growing and is healthy. You don't want to wait too late, though. That's the other thing. You don't want them just to be on formula for the whole first year of life and not be introduced to any solid food. So you want to encourage the parents to get them started when they're ready. Okay. And when the babies start growing, they need more calories and nutrients from the solid food. It also gives them a chance to try different foods at an early, and different colors and textures, because you don't want a 1-year-old that won't eat any solid foods because they have, texture issues because they only had milk, the whole first year. So feeding solid foods before a baby's developmentally ready, it increases that chance of choking, drinking less breast milk or formula that's needed, and they also could be overweight or obese later in life. So feeding solid foods before baby is ready does not help the baby sleep through the night. So some parents will say it helps them to sleep through the night. And it does not make the baby eat fewer times in a day either. So if a parent reports fussiness or sleeping problems as a reason for wanting to start solid foods early, encourage them to discuss their concerns with their doctor. Sometimes ideas for other ways to calm or soothe the crying baby can be helpful. Crying doesn't always mean that the baby is hungry. Okay, you have to learn the individual baby's cues, and it doesn't necessarily mean they're always hungry. Okay. So, is baby Jonathan developmentally ready for solid food? He's 5.5 months old. He can sit when his mom holds him tight, but he does not have good head or neck control. So, is he ready for solid foods? Yes or no? That's correct. No, he's not ready for solid foods. All right. What about baby Kara? She's 5.5 months old. She can sit up on her own with little assistance, has good head control, and keeps reaching for food when it's near her. And when baby Kara tried to bite a food, she was able to move it to the back of her throat to swallow. So is she developmentally ready for solid food? Yes, she is ready. Very good. So, remember that once they are developmentally ready, we need to give them all the components. So when we say around, that means developmentally ready. The amount of solid food listed in the infant meal patterns are provided as a range, such as 0 to 2 tablespoons. This provides you with the flexibility to offer the right amount of solid foods based on the baby's developmentally readiness. You would give any, if they're not ready, but you may just give 1 tablespoon, because they're trying it. just trying solid foods. And then, but once they've accepted that, then you would want to give them the full 2 tablespoons of the food. So 0 doesn't necessarily mean 0, like not at all, if they're developmentally ready. So I hope that makes sense. So they would need that at least 6 ounces of formula breast milk, and then they introduce to a bread or a meat alternate or a grain, and then they need a fruit or a vegetable. Here's some food items that are safe for babies to eat. You can just buy commercially, in jars, baby foods, or you can puree, mash, ground, finely chopped. Once a baby is used to the pureed food, mashed food is a good texture to try next. Mashed food is lumpier than a pureed food, obviously. Now, what was I going to say? Oh, the other thing I was going to just reinforce is that when you're buying the commercially sold baby food that comes in jars or pouches and stuff, that you stick to one food group. So if it says apples and blueberries and it's like in a little pouch, then that's fine. But if it says rice and apples, then you don't know how much of that little pouch is rice and how much of it is whatever I said, fruit or vegetable. So I know I went to one of the daycares and I saw that they had little pouches and it actually said how many tablespoons of each thing. And those are acceptable, but you may want to take a picture just to, you may need to show Melissa, because if you put something that's a combination, she's going to question it. Okay. So it's better just to stick to those single ingredient type things. Okay. A parent asks you to start serving their 5-month-old. Can you still claim for reimbursement for that meals and snacks? Yes or no? The answer is yes. If the baby is developmentally ready to accept solid foods, then yes. But if that baby does not meet the criteria and it's not holding their head up, can't sit up, then it becomes liability for you to serve that child. So you need to be very careful and not serve too early. Okay. Here are some solid foods that are in the infant meal plan. We encourage that you do the iron fortified infant cereal as long as you can during that first year of life. But then these are some things that you can give and substitute for the cereals. And they also allow whole eggs now, which I have always trained that you can only give egg whites to babies, but they allow the whole egg now. Yogurt, they allow yogurt as long as it has less than 23 grams of added sugar or total sugar. Part of the new provisions that they are looking at changing that to be that and the cereals and yogurts where it's just added sugar instead of total sugars. But right now we're still looking at total sugar. So it's 23 grams or less per 8 ounces. And then for snack, remember, you can do ready to eat cereals or puffs. You can do breads and crackers for snack, only for snack. Okay. So we kind of already talked about the ready to eat cereals. You need to be really careful to make sure that they're not choking hazard. That's why I say puffs or Cheerios, things that will dissolve in their mouth easily. And they pretty much, all of the ones that you would purchase would meet the sugar limits, but do make sure that you look at that. Remember that your cereals must be iron fortified. Single and mixed grain cereals are credible, but offer single grains first and then the mixed grains. And to tell if the iron cereal is iron fortified, it's pretty much going to say it on the front of the package. And most of the popular brands are going to be iron fortified, just like all the formulas are iron fortified now. For meat and meat alternates, similar to the cereals, meat and poultry are good first foods for babies because they provide iron and zinc. But I would wait as long as you can. Like I would serve just the cereals and fruits and vegetables as long as you can. And then if they will not take the cereals anymore and they're ready for table food, then that's when you would substitute for meat or, whatever you're serving your other kids. You might can just chop up finely for them. Or you could do yogurt. Yogurt's a good. Remember to choose those yogurts with the lower sugar. Remember, I've given out one of these before about choosing yogurts that are lower in sugar, and it's 23 grams of sugar or less. And you can give that to your babies as well as your older kids. All the vegetables and fruits can be offered. Fruits and vegetable juices are not credible. So you cannot do any juices. Remember, for babies, they have to be over a year old. Tips for feeding a baby. If you are using jarred baby food, spoon it out into another bowl. Sit and talk to the baby during the feeding. If ready, let the baby feed themselves. And always watch it, especially if you're introducing something new, for allergic reactions. So if it's something that they've never had before, really, really be careful and watch that. And always throw away the uneaten food and start with a fresh bowl, fresh bottle the next feeding. And remember that there's nutrition, there's all types of nutritional resources at teamnutrition.usda.gov. The Feeding Infant Guide is great. Y'all can, it's all of these things are digital where you can open them up and look at them or print them. But there's some of things that you can actually order and get the actual hard copy. And the Feeding Infants and the Breast Fed Babies Are Welcome Here. Those are both available to you for free of charge. So it's usually, the only reason I can't get a ton is they usually only allow, one per facility. So if you go there, you can request it and they'll send that to you for free. Okay. Any more questions about infants and infant feeding? Any questions? Any questions? Okay. All right. What about reimbursement? A, B, or C? Which one do you think is the lie? You may be reimbursed for a maximum of 2 snacks and 1 main meal, or 2 meals and 1 snack per child per day. The amount of reimbursement you receive is based on a 3-tiered system, and reimbursement rates are adjusted by the USDA annually. Is it A, B, or C? Looks like most of you have got it right. If you said B, then you are correct. Our centers are based on a 3-tier system. They have what's called free, reduced, and paid, and they get a blended rate based on that. But as a family daycare home, it's actually a 2-tier system. And if y'all are wanting to know the new tiering rates that just came out, actually I put 23, 24, but that should be 24, 25. I apologize. That was a typo. So this is, all of you are getting the tier 1 rates now. So it's really easy for y'all to figure out how much you're going to receive for reimbursement. So for every breakfast that you serve during the month, you'll get $1.66. For every lunch or supper, you're going to get $3.15. And for every supplement, you're going to get 93 cents. Okay, so that really helps to figure out how much you're going to receive and to double check us, make sure we haven't made a mistake for one, but also to know how much you're going to receive so you can budget for how much to spend on food for the month. Okay. Another thing that it's not really about the food program per se, but something that we're supposed to watch for when we come out to do reviews is your ratio. So please, please, please be careful and watch your ratios. We do not want to have to contact your licensing specialist. But our last state meeting, they said if we see any licensing violations while we're out, that we need to contact your licensing specialist for a review. And most of the things, you know, if it's something small, I'm not that concerned about, but ratios is a big deal because if there was a fire or something, you know, you've got to be able to get the kids out, and you need to make sure you have enough adult caregivers to meet the amount of kids. So I pulled this right out of your licensing book. Okay. So you should have a copy of this within your licensing book. But this is something that we're supposed to look for when we come out. So please make sure that you're not only within your license capacity, but you're also within your ratios. Okay. I mentioned the Sesame Street last year, and I don't know if any of y'all took advantage of any of the fun stuff that they have available, but here was another cute little video. I think it does have sound. Let me see if I can turn it up.
For the children at Tri-Valley Head Start, this excitement over fresh fruits and vegetables not only helps form healthy eating habits, but also helps strengthen family relationships.
Our kids are migrant and seasonal. Their families are used to being and working in farms. So it's really important not only for the kids to learn about farming, where fruits, vegetables, produce come from, but also make that connection with their families that their parents are doing this.
The learning goes both ways, though, as the children often teach their parents new things.
They could go home and tell their parents, I want a garden and I want to plant cucumber. I want a tomato plant. So if we encourage the kids, they are going to encourage the parents, which is a good thing.
Through 2 years of working on its Farm to Head Start program, Tri-Valley has found a process that works for everybody in the classroom.
I'm definitely very proud of the teachers for taking the initiative and just flourishing with it.
It is a big, big learning experience, I think, for these kids.
Okay, that video is about farm to Head Start, which that's so strange. It's like
At Tri-Valley,
I have two
Farm to Head
videos.
Start has proven to be a win-win-win.
I have two videos embedded.
Important is to eat healthy.
So sorry. I am just not very tech savvy. I've got, it looks like I have two videos embedded. So this was the one that I showed you last year. When we were talking about farm to school initiative. But the one I was wanting to show you is Cookie Monster.
We know what you're thinking. This guy gonna talk about.
So if you go to Sesame Workshop, and if you can look them up on YouTube, or you can just Google them. They have a lot of really cute and fun videos about health and nutrition, and then other ones just about like childhood diseases like asthma and diabetes and things like that. So if there's things that you want to share with your kids, I thought that there were so many cute things, but I apologize for that. We talked about this last year too, but last year I didn't have any help. And I think only one person sent something in last year. So I would like for y'all I want to encourage you to send Kristen any menu ideas, any photos to be included in our new monthly newsletter. She has actually started on an August newsletter. So we are going to be sending out monthly newsletters is our plan. And now that I have some help to do that, I think that we will be more successful with it. But I want to be able to put like important dates, and I want to give like a recipe spotlight, snack ideas, and some other resources for you. I put the new income guidelines. So I would like to be able to share information with you monthly. And in that, I would love to highlight you. So if you can share any recipe ideas, or you can share any photos of you doing nutritional activities with your kids, just email those to Kristen with permission to include them into the newsletters, and they're only going to go out to our providers. Yes, yes. Back in the old days, when my mom used to do newsletters, and we actually would copy them and mail them out, and then that was back when you got checks, so we would mail them out with your checks and stuff. So I know that with our technology these days, I mean, everything is at your fingertips, and you're able to find the information. But I really, this is something that I've wanted to do for a long time, is to get back to doing. I'm just not very tech savvy and doing the digital stuff, the digital marketing and things. But Kristen has been a great help. I mean, she's just so awesome. I'm so thankful to have her. So if I can get information to her, then she'll help me to put it in a digital form where I can send those out to y'all. So be looking for those. And I still would also like to do more videos, things like that, or at least share other things that we find that I think would be helpful for you. So if you have any great ideas or anything, please send those to Kristen to include in the new newsletters. All right. So thank y'all so much. All right. I want everybody just to stretch for a minute and get you a drink of water if you need to. And then we'll go over some of the other updates. I probably have, I was hoping that I'd be done a little bit earlier. So maybe about 25 more minutes, I would say 30 more minutes of material. I was wanting to get done before 8. I didn't want to keep y'all too late. So if you want to stretch, get you a drink of water. We'll go ahead and continue. All right, whole grain. Which one's the lie? You must serve 1 whole grain per day. All the grains you serve in your daycare home must be whole grain. Whole grain are rich in fiber, healthy fats, vitamins, and minerals. Which one is the lie? A, B, or C? A, B, or C? It looks like most of you said B, and some of you said A. The correct answer is B. All of the grains you serve in your daycare home must be whole grain. That is the lie. That is not true. But we'll go back. But you must serve 1 whole grain per day. And I ask that you put a capital W, capital G beside the grain that you are counting as your whole grain for the day, just to make it easier for Melissa to figure out that you have one. Because one of the things that she's supposed to check is that you have served a whole grain item once a day. Now, if you served it for breakfast today, tomorrow you can serve it for lunch, or the next day you can serve it for PM snack. It does not have to be at every meal. Okay. And please, like I said, please indicate what you're serving. So, here we go. So why are whole grain rich items required daily at meals and snacks? The dietary guideline recommends that half of all grains be whole. So they're assuming, I guess, that the child's going to get something else whole grain when they get home. But as we know, that's probably not the case. So if you can provide more than 1 per day, that would be great, but you're only required to do 1. Whole grains are rich in fiber, healthy fats, and vitamins and minerals, and we want to do quality over quantity. Okay. And remember, we talked about ounce equivalents a lot last year, that 1 grain serving is equal to 1 ounce equivalent. So it's mostly just a name change. In most cases, the portion size remain the same. And there is an ounce equivalent calculator on the Food Buying Guide website that I will share. Actually, I think I put the link in the email. But if you go to the foodbuyingguide.org, you'll be able to find that calculator. Last year, I gave out these ounce equivalents for grains and CACFP worksheet. You can also find these on Team Nutrition. It's a great worksheet that breaks it down. And we talked about a lot of this last year and how much is 1 ounce equivalent. And this is all information that is on that worksheet. And what's neat is like it'll pick it. It doesn't have all the grains, but it has the majority of the grains that you would be serving to your kids. So say that you were going to have pretzels today, you'll know that that they need 7 twists or 11 grams for 1 to 5 year olds, and which is about 1/3 a cup. And it shows pasta, pita bread, it breaks them all down to make it easier for you to figure out. So it's got the 6 to 18 year olds as well. This just kind of explains on how to use that chart. There's been some questions about popcorn, if popcorn is credible. It is under the new guidelines, but you really, really have to be careful with small children because it's such a choking hazard. So if you care for younger children, I would not serve popcorn, only if you just did a 3 and 4 year old program or after school program, So I'm not going to read all this to you because we've already been through it once. But say you want to serve oatmeal to a 4-year-old at breakfast, how many cups of cooked oatmeal do you need to serve to meet the minimum requirement amount of grain? So look at your chart, and we're going to serve 4-year-olds, and we're going to serve oatmeal. Do they need 1 cup, 2 cups, 1/4 a cup, or 1/2 a cup? What's the correct answer? If you just want to put A, B, C, or D, that's fine too. Go up to your 1/4 a cup. That's correct. That is correct. 1/4 of a cup. And that's to do the minimum. 1/4 a cup of oatmeal, that is not very much at all. So it's, like I said, it's always fine to give more, but we want to make sure that they're getting the minimum. And this just breaks down to show you. This one is the pretzels and the crackers. So if we were going to do these pretzels, I think I've already told you, but is this pretzel the same size or larger than the hard mini twist pretzels listed in the grain? Yes, this pretzel is the same, or no, it isn't. It is. So it's about 1 1/4 by 1 1/2. So you know that this one is credible, and it tells you on there how many of that size. And I'm not saying that if they were smaller or larger, they wouldn't be credible, but the number of how many you would give would be different. So if you want to serve these pretzels to an 8-year-old at snack, how many mini twists do you need to serve to meet that minimum? 7, 14, 11, 27. 14 is correct. Very good. And that just, and it makes it easier when you're serving to know how many they're supposed to get, to make sure that they're getting enough, but they can always have more. All right. So what about if your item is not listed? Your item is smaller or lighter than what's listed. You don't know the size of the item, and you're serving a grain item to meet part of the grain requirement. Then I encourage you to go to the food buying guide and you go to Exhibit A, grain tools. And you use the calculator. So on the calculator, you should be able to get the information directly off the nutritional fact label on your package. So this package says that there's 7 servings in the container, and each serving is 27 crackers or 30, which is equal to 30 grams. So you on here, you can put desired, grain. So you want to make sure that you're getting 1 ounce grain equivalent, and there's 27 and they're 30 grams. So it's going to tell you, it's going to show you, it's going to say, oh, there it is. 20 pieces is how many you would have to serve to get 1 ounce. So this is a very helpful tool. You can use the on the food buying guide. You can use on your computer. You can also download on your cell phone. It's FBG. It's USDA FBG is what it's called, food buying guide. And you can download that onto your phone. So that's real helpful if you're out shopping and you want to look and see if this is, something that you would want to serve. Okay. And if you register yourself on the food buying guide, which is free, then you can also keep a list of all of the favorite things that you serve. And then you can compare them. And then you can see the food yields and stuff. So you're trying to figure out how many packages or boxes or how many pounds of something you need to purchase to feed how many kids you have. So it's a very, very helpful tool. I find it really helpful too when you're cooking. So if you want to know how much pasta, or you want to know how much ground beef, and your ground beef is going to, cook down depending on if it's ground beef or ground chuck or, ground steak. So it's really helpful in that. The crediting handbook, there should have been a link to it in the email as well. They have made some changes to it, a few to meet those ounce equivalents and things. And it's just a great resource that just makes it easy to just look up the food item, and then it tells you the yields beside it. So, and if it'll say, is this credible? Yes or no, or maybe, sometimes it might be credible and sometimes it may not be. So it's a great, great tool. You can print it out, or you can just, look at it on your phone or your computer. Okay. All right. Civil rights requirements real quickly. Remember, the Justice for All poster needs to be posted. Also, do you have a copy of the civil rights complaint filing procedure on file ready for review? So if a parent asks for a complaint, they want to file a complaint, a civil rights complaint, you need to have a procedure in place. So when it comes to the food program, we just want to make sure that there's no separation of the children and in the serving lines or the seating arrangements. Okay. This is a copy of a sample of a civil rights procedure form that you can use. There should have been one in that email. If you need it, just make sure that you have this on file or something similar on file to provide if needed. And they would be filing a civil rights complaint to the federal government. This would not come to us or even the state. It goes directly to Washington. Okay. And remember, the goals of civil rights is equal treatment to everyone, the knowledge of rights and responsibilities. We want to eliminate any barriers that prevent or deter people from participating. And we want to have dignity and respect for all. These are the 9 areas of civil rights. And the first one means that all of our data is confidential. That's why on our forms, we don't ask for social security numbers or anything like that. We want to inform potential participants about CACFP. You need to make sure that have a public notification system, and you're doing that by putting up your Justice for All posters. We want to make sure that you do have a complaint. If you do have a civil rights complaint, that they have that procedure, and that you're getting the required training from us, which that's what we're doing today. Resolution of noncompliance is to stop inappropriate action. Reasonable accommodations of people with disabilities is to supply food substitutes when necessary to participants. So that's where it comes into, is if they are lactose intolerant or something like that, that you can't say, well, I can't provide you that. They have to drink whole milk at 1%. No, that's not true. You need to make reasonable accommodations. So that would be providing soy milk or lactose-free milk. Language assistance. If you have a parent that English is not their first language, you need to make sure that you're giving them the opportunity to get what they need in their language. The state does provide a lot of our forms in Spanish, not all of them, but most of them are in Spanish. So if you ever need anything in Spanish, just let us know. Conflict resolution, remain calm during conflict and get help when needed or you feel threatened. Customer service, treat others the way you want to be treated. I mean, really, it's not that difficult. It's crazy. The state makes a really big deal about civil rights every year, that we have to make sure we go over this and y'all understand civil rights. Just treat people how you want to be treated, and make sure what you serve to one kid, you serve to all, and you don't show favoritism and don't separate the kids. Yeah. All right. So other requirements that we want to talk about, are you organized? Make sure that you're organized and that you have a binder or folders in your filing cabinet where you're keeping track of all of your enrollments and income forms and obligation to serve infant forms and all of your records. Do you have that? Or if you're doing it digitally, make sure that you have it backed up. So you've got it on your computer, then make sure you've got it in the cloud, or if you've got it on an exterior thumb drive or something like that. Make sure that you have adequate space and equipment for meal preparation and meal service and dining. Are your foods maintained at proper food temperatures until food is served? And make sure that you have, let me show you real quick, some type of temperature chart posted in your kitchen, that you're keeping your hot food over 135 degrees and you're keeping your cold foods under 40. Okay. Is there a thermometer in your refrigerator and freezer? A lot of the centers now have these really cool ones where it tells you on actually the outside of the freezer and the refrigerator. But for y'all, make sure, just go to the dollar store, but make sure that there's one and that you can find it. There's been so many times that I've gone in there like digging. I know there's one in here, but they can't find it. So just make sure you keep it where it can be easily located. And that's one thing that we're supposed to document, is what the temperature is in your freezer and refrigerator. And if it seems a little off, then we can ask questions and say, well, you might need to get that checked out, or, how long has it been open, that kind of things. Make sure that you're using safety and sanitary practices during meal preparation and service, that you're washing your hands thoroughly, wearing gloves if you want to, keeping your hair back, those type things. If you have over, I think it's over 12, you have to get health inspections. So make sure that you have your health inspections on file or posted for review. Also, if it's over 11 or 12, you have to have a food management certificate on file and posted for review. Fire department inspections conducted within the last 12 months, and make sure that you've got that on review. And childcare licensing posted for review. These are all things that the state asked to see when they went out to do reviews at the last time. So I want to make sure that I remind you of all these things, that you know where they are and you can locate them. Scheduled meal times within 15 minutes of actual meal service. The meal served contained all the required components and serving sizes, and it's all served at one time together. Seeing labels are on file for review. Standardized recipes are on file for review. Did the meal service match the posted menu and production records? So make sure that, what you told the parents you were going to have that day is what you actually had and what you wrote down. Okay. Here's the temperature chart. If you need a copy of a temperature chart, let me know. I think I gave some out 2 years ago that were just like half sheets, but then this one was done by ICN, and I thought it was but it's like 8.5 by 11. But ICN has a lot of great resources and a lot of great trainings for daycare providers. So just be organized, be prepared for review at any time. Okay. Never take your records out of the home. They should always be in the home, especially during your office hours. your oh, my brain is slowing down. But can you have a chart, please? Yes. Let me write y'all's names down real quick. During your operating hours that anyone could stop by. Make sure that you're maintaining copies of all of your records and receipts for 5 years. Okay. The federal is 3 and the state is 5, I believe. They typically don't go back more than a year, unless there's, serious problems, but please make sure that you have those available if needed. Okay. Let me write this down. Y'all are wanting a temperature chart. And like I said, I have a one that's just a half a sheet of paper, and then I have this one. So I'll send both of them to you. Miss Teresa, Melanie. I have to write this stuff down because once we end, all of the chat will go away. So, all right. Remember that every dollar you receive from us needs to go directly into your food program. And if you are ever reviewed by the federal government, that's going to be the most important thing to them. They want to know where every dollar is going. Okay. So it's so important that you keep track of it. So do you have receipts? Excuse me. Do you have receipts on file to verify where all your money's going? Okay. The majority of your money should be going directly to food cost. Okay. So, make sure that you have a way of keeping track of your expenses. You can have a monthly chart. You could be using QuickBooks, any of those Kinder Cares, those things that you can do online, or you can just have a sheet of paper where you're keeping track of it. Or you could be using the calendar record keeping that we give you each year. And I have ordered those, so they will be available. Hopefully we'll get them in October. And then I'll have Amy hand those out when she comes out to do reviews. So the calendar keepers are wonderful because not only they have a calendar, they have all the record keepings that you need for a family daycare home. I see. Let me go ahead and write down your email. I don't know that I have yours. Yeah. And if for some reason y'all don't receive this, then just send me an email at nicole@ar-children.com, and then I can respond to that email. Okay. So how many of you use your calendar keepers? Any of you? Raise your hand. Do any of y'all use them? Diane does. Yay. So one person does. Oh, Miss Joyce, she raised her hand. Melanie, she loves hers. Awesome. Rebecca does. Yay. Because they keep going up every year, but I know it's a wonderful resource for y'all to have. So as long as we can afford them, we're going to provide those for y'all. So I think they're really a nice thing to have. Some other reminders is to make sure that you email your menus and weekly to Melissa. It's homes@ar-children.com. It just makes it so much easier for her to process the claim at the end of the month if you have emailed them in weekly. So if there's any issues, then you have time to get those fixed before it's time to get you paid. Okay. Because we really try that as soon as we receive your last day for the month. So say it's the first of June. As soon as she processes it, I try to pay you immediately. So within the first 5 days of the month, as long as we have everything we need, I try to pay you. And hopefully we'll get our money for July and I'll be able to do the same thing. If for some reason that we don't, we'll definitely let you know. And in the past, I've kind of skipped over a little bit of corrective action and serious deficiencies because all of y'all are so good that I don't have to worry about it so much. But we have had one issue with a provider. And so they said that they were never trained on serious deficiencies or corrective action. And so I wanted to make sure that I make a couple of slides about that. It's just when y'all, if we come out and we find any of these things, like you submitted false information, you know, on your application or your reimbursement, you're trying to be under 2 sponsorships, you didn't follow the meal patterns. You know, we come out, you wrote down what you were having that day and what you're serving doesn't reflect that, and what you're serving is not credible. We come out and you're claiming, you know, 10 kids for every day, and we come out and there's 4 there. And you don't have sign-in sheets to back up for the other days. Okay. So, you know, we're just like looking for fraud and things like that. Failure to do training at least once a year is another seriously deficiency. So anything that we've agreed on, you know, about getting your menus in on time, you know, serving, just as long as you do what you say you're going to do, we're going to be fine. But if we ever do find a deficiency when we come out, then we are going to write you a corrective action letter. And in that corrective action letter, it's going to tell you what the findings were. And then you need to tell us, you need to write us back and tell us how you're going to fix that. And you need to have a corrective action plan. And it needs to be a detailed plan of a policy or procedure to ensure that you're going to fix the problem. Okay, so you're going to say, this is step 1, step 2, step 3. This is what we're going to do to make sure that this doesn't happen again. Then we will be required to come out to do a review to make sure that you did what you say you were going to do. If you did what you said you were going to do, then we'll just go on and we're good. If you don't, then that's when we have to move forward, and then you could do propose to terminate. And then, you know, we have to get the state involved and lawyers involved, and then the appeals procedure could come into place. You should have received a copy of the appeals procedures a long time ago, whenever we signed you up. If you need this, just let me know. They have not redone one for the Department of Ed yet, so I still just have the DHS version. If we do receive a new version, I'll definitely send those out. It just outlines the procedure that you would go through if you feel like you've been treated unfairly and you want to go through an appeals procedure. Okay. So if you look at your training checklist, hopefully we went over the majority of everything that was on there. Our objective was, after completing this training, providers will understand the requirements to participate. So that means you understand everything that's on that training checklist page. Okay. So please make sure that you put your name and you've circled yes for everything that you understand. If there is something you don't understand, then make sure you ask questions. Okay. Remember that we're here to serve you. And, you know, y'all are the homes, y'all are so close to my heart. You know, I grew up with this program. I mean, I remember as a child sitting underneath my mom's desk, you know, while she's working. So homes are just so close to my heart. I even had a family daycare home for a couple of years after I graduated from college, before I had Annie, my child. So y'all are so close to my heart. Please let me know if you need anything, if anything I can do to help you. We are here, you know, we're here for you. So just don't forget to send that training checklist. You can send it to me or Melissa. She'll make sure that you get the credit. And it may be a couple of weeks before you get the PDR credit, because I'm going to wait until I get a good number of you in before I do that. And we're going on vacation next week, so I'm so excited. We're going to the beach, yay! So I'll be out. Mom and I'll be out all next week. But as soon as I get back, I will make sure and get those PDR credits entered, and I'll also have Kristen email you a certificate, so that way you can have a certificate to save, or you can print it out if you'd like to. Okay. So I want to thank y'all for coming and logging on tonight. I know that y'all are all so busy and our time is valuable. But I just want to thank you for doing this. And if you have questions, concerns, don't hesitate to reach out. You're so welcome. I mean, I wish that we could find more family daycare homes. So if you meet if you meet moms and they're looking for a way that they can stay home with their kids, teach them about how it is to become a family daycare provider, and then you can share with them about the food program and other things that they can do to be able to do this, because I mean, I just think that y'all are wonderful, and I just love you, and thank you for allowing us to serve you. So thank y'all so much. Have a wonderful evening, and send those training checklists in, and don't hesitate to call or email with questions. Love y'all so much, and good night. Thank you. Y'all are so sweet. Thank you so much. I'm not sure where I go to do those. Let's see. Oops. Still recording. Why ended? I know we're still going, but let's see, maybe it's here. Zoom is capturing the screen. Yes, I'm presenting. I'm gonna stop. Want to- Yes, I know I'm presenting, but how do I end it? Wait. Hmm. Oh. Here we go.